I don't know how many other people out there are going through a spiritual awakening. I just wanted to share my point from where I am and things I've gone through, the amazing, liberating experiences I've had during this journey, and also the extreme challenges from purging out the ego, completely dismantling old beliefs and ideas about who I thought I was. I was going to write out a bullet point list of topics I wanted to cover relating to spiritual awakenings, but I thought it might be more effective for me and whoever's watching this and my future children to be able to go back and watch this video if I just spoke directly from the heart. So when I was younger, I don't know why, but I used to always pray for wisdom. I didn't even know what that really meant. But anyways, I used to always pray for wisdom, and I think at that time I used to think wisdom just meant being smart. I wanted to be an intelligent individual, because I always felt like so many things in this world were backward. So over time, I've had many layers of awakening, and I think that they happen throughout life. I think awakening and growing and changing and tapping into God or universal intelligence, or what some people consider to be Christ consciousness, I think that happens in layers over time. And different things teach you different levels of that layers, like when you have children, or when you're healthily and happily married, or when you experience loss, or you see other people in just really tragic scenarios in life. You start to become more grateful and think, what am I here for? I must be here to help. And I think that triggers different layers of the awakening. But if I can remember my very first experience kind of becoming aware that I was changing, I remember I used to go out when I was younger, and I was able to be around a lot of different stimuli and energy and different people. And I went through a time period one time when so many things in my life changed at once. My family had moved to a different city. I had broken up with my high school girlfriend at the time. We were just growing separate, and so I had gone through a breakup. I had moved cities. I had quit my job at the skate shop that I really liked. I was also sponsored by them. I had my clothing brand in there as well, and it was like a very family-oriented environment. It was called Valsurf, still the best skate shop in the world. I remember like feeling alone in a new city. I didn't necessarily like being in that city. It didn't align with me. And it was the first time I kind of felt like down. And I was not used to feeling down. I have a very optimistic family. That's not normal for us to feel down or sad or anything like that. We don't really carry that kind of energy. So I was just feeling so down. And one day on YouTube, this video popped up from a teacher named Bob Proctor. And I just kind of went down the rabbit hole. A friend of mine years before that had showed me this documentary called The Secret. It was about manifesting the reality you want and using your mind and stuff. This information wasn't crazy to me because my grandfather had always told me this. And my family was very big on like vision boards and having a vision for yourself. The more I started to go down this rabbit hole, I was like, wow, like, okay. So a lot of thoughts started to change for me. I grew up a little bit more on the religious side. As I kind of grew and educated myself, I didn't really like so much of the religious structure. Not to say there aren't some amazing principles in every religion, but that ripped off a piece of what I identified myself as. I'm like, I was like, oh, I am a Christian. So if I'm not a Christian, that was something that was given to me, religion. And I'm not my name, that was something that was given to me. I'm not my job title, that was something that I had. There were so many titles that I had, but I wasn't those things. So who was I? So then I began to question, why do I eat the way that I eat? I would wake up and eat like 8 Eggo waffles and stack them up, put a whole bunch of whipped cream and syrup, and then get a slice of cheesecake. Like I was all over the place. And I started to just question, like, why do I eat this way? Why do I listen to the music that I listen to? This is not the most positive music. Over time, I just changed what I was listening to and got into, I was at the library every day reading. I was stumbling across so much information that I loved and was proud of, but I didn't feel the most supported by the world in that journey. Guys would be like making fun of me for eating healthy or wanting to add more greens on my plate or drink green juices or do yoga and meditate. I didn't want to go out with them anymore because I didn't want to listen to that kind of music. I've never been drunk before, but I just didn't like to be around people who were drinking and loud and rambunctious and men in their ego, and I just didn't like those environments. I began to get uncomfortable around those environments. I didn't realize that it was more of a energetic thing. I no longer was resonating with the vibration of those people and environment anymore. And this started to make my life really challenging because I felt like I used to be able to talk to everyone and talk out loud, and they agreed with me as long as I was talking about, the party and oh, you heard this new album that came out, and then I started, being like, I don't really like what these celebrities are talking about in their music. I don't really want to watch these movies anymore. I don't like how it's programming my mind. It's not so positive. I started to feel like the outcast, and it felt like I was being punished every time I would communicate about something that made sense to me. I lost quite a bit of friends. I lost interest in a lot of things I used to be interested in. I literally slowly started to become a different person. I went through this period called the dark night of the soul. A lot of people call it that. It's pretty much when the ego self that you were moving through life with to protect yourself or give yourself a sense of power or give yourself some sense of self-identity began to dissolve. So I was like, wait, why do I feel the need to argue my points? Why do I feel the need to be right? Why do I feel like I have to control everything to feel safe? So as that was dissolving, I felt tired, lethargic. I would get headaches. I would have all these spiritual experiences that were really hard to talk about. I think I have a video talking about an outer body experience that I had. You can check that out in the personal development section on this channel. But I started to attract people on the vibration that I was on. So other people who have had these similar experiences, other people who have lost a lot of friends, changed the way they ate, changed how they view relationships, traditional education, people who are also learning about business and financial literacy and trying to figure out what their purpose was. And there have been so many videos of people sharing their raw, authentic experiences during their shifts when they were changing the paradigm of who they were. They were changing their habits, their beliefs, their mindsets, their ideologies, redirecting their career or purpose. And I remember feeling like, okay, I'm not crazy, I'm not tripping, because it felt like it was global. I even lived in a different country, traveled to a couple countries, and I felt like the majority of people weren't feeling or thinking what I was feeling, thinking, and experiencing. I was like, is anyone else feeling like they can think thoughts and they'll manifest into reality? Or they can create a vision board and it slowly just starts happening and taking shape in your life. Or especially a lot of men are not raised to have emotional intelligence, or that's not really looked up upon, or that's not something to really be proud of, to consider yourself sensitive or have strong emotions or being empathetic. And that's not really conversations most men walk around talking about. So I just felt like, what is happening with me? There would be some times where I felt like there was no me. I would just come into complete oneness with all, and I would feel in harmony with the trees, the birds, nature, everything. And I would kind of get scared. I'm like, whoa, this feels too free. Let me kind of your old ego self trying to keep yourself safe. So I'd be like, no, I'm this person. I grew up believing this, and this is my character. And it would be like a conflict inside of me. And things I was once comfortable with would literally trigger me. So the more I dug deep, and I kind of realized that the world is going through this giant change right now. And I think none of us can really ignore it. Many things are online, people are sharing new information or truths. We're entering the age of Aquarius in astrology. It's considered to be the age of information. Old structures are falling apart. Systems that were never really working for the majority and masses of people are falling apart. And people are starting to now share, and the masses are starting to have a thirst for authenticity and real information, because so many things are being revealed and exposed, and they don't know what's even what anymore, which I think is a beautiful thing, because for a better world to be born, the old ways have to die off, right? So it may get a little ugly before it transcends into a more positive, harmonious, abundant, loving reality, which is considered to be fifth dimensional consciousness. And I think that God had certain souls go through periods of isolation and development to be a part of this change. And I wanted to be a part of that. So I figured that I wanted to start sharing some content and information about these experiences so that anyone else going through it doesn't feel alone. But yeah, the planet's going through a giant purge. For the people feeling like you have some great information to share, whether that's information on healthy food, how to garden, or how to grow food, or how to heal, or how to grow businesses online that are integral and really are helping and serving people during this time, or how to get into shape, I encourage you to fearlessly share that information now, even though what you have learned or experienced may not be, how's it going, man? even though what you've been going through to get the result you have, whether it's healing yourself, getting yourself in shape, attracting a healthy relationship and partner, or building an online business that allows you to travel the world on your own time, talking to people you're in alignment with. I think it's time that we all share these experiences and how we did it. I think that it was divinely orchestrated that we've gone through certain things. Not saying we know everything and not saying that we're completely done on our journey. We're all still growing. But we may be a step ahead of certain people in certain areas because we're designed to help lead and pull others up in this time in life. Look at it like this: maybe someone got really good at finances, someone else got really good at health and wellness, with foods and ways to move the body. Someone else articulates spiritual information and universal laws and principles like the law of attraction and vibration, or the laws of compensation, in a very clear, simple, and easy way to digest, right? Those people should be the leaders in those fields, helping people grow in those areas, sharing content. And over time, that information will be all over the internet, and there will be a trend to work on yourself, heal, grow, forgive others, forgive yourself, heal yourself. And by the time the masses wakes up, it might be a year, it might be 5 years, it might be 20 years that this transformation or shift, starts really affecting most people, right? But all that information will be up and it will be there. And when they're done following celebrities or politicians, or really thinking that there's some savior outside of themselves and their willingness to work on themselves and change themselves, when those ideologies of leaders and stuff like that fall away, or they realize that these people aren't really here to help the majority of people, they'll be looking for people giving them information that makes sense. And people who've been growing spiritually and with integrity and kindness and love and compassion, and that has a heart for the world and is serving and sharing this kind of information and experiences, there'll be people that these people feel safe running to invest in themselves and get some mentorship, therapy, coaching, or even just consume some of our content for free and just feel seen and heard, and like they're not going crazy, because they may be trying to tell their friends like, hey, I don't think this is right that's going on, or hey, I don't want to eat, or what's in our food, or why am I taught to just go to school and go to work forever and I don't know anything about finance or interest or compound interest or sales, or they don't even know what's being sold to them, So this is just a message to others, also a message to myself, and also when I have children and they grow up, we all grow up and start realizing different things about the world that we like and don't like. I hope that they find this, and when they're questioning what's going on or questioning the information that people are shoving down their throats in social media, and if they start tapping into themselves and feeling like, I feel like the natural way is the way. I think time in nature heals. I think that we're supposed to be here to serve and help the planet, not destroy it. I think that, I've always felt like I'm more than just a religious label or a color or a nationality. I've always felt like I'm more than that. What is this feeling? Am I crazy? No one else agrees with me. No one else knows what I'm talking about. Well, I was here. I'm still going through that. And what I do know is your thoughts are so powerful. We're more powerful than we will ever know. And be patient with yourself. Take your time. Don't let anyone define or shape your spiritual growth. Realize that everyone is on their own journey and they have their own thoughts and beliefs. And although you may want to change everyone and how they're thinking and whatever, or fight against the system, the best thing you can do is use your mind to create with your thoughts and words the life that you want. And the people who will be inspired by your journey, they will come to you, and there'll be a few, and they'll be willing to learn, and they want to know your perspective and how you've gotten where you've gotten. But being a great leader by example is the best that we can do. And be a light. Be a beacon of light that others feel like they can feel comfortable talking to you, or they can learn from you, or in a space where they may be in a really dark place, there's someone speaking life into them. So if you're going through some of these symptoms, like desires to eat healthier, wanting to spend less time on watching entertainment, because everything is just entertainment, right? You want to learn new skills, you want to find healthy relationships, friendships, or you're looking for community, or you're questioning religious practices that you've just picked up and we're told this is the only right way to live, no matter where you're from in the world. If that's you, you're okay, you're not crazy. An intelligent person thinks through what they think, believe, and put in their body and put in their mind, so questioning things is not wrong. If you're in LA, where I was born, Agape Spiritual Center is an amazing place to go. No one's selling you on some man in the sky outside of yourself. They make sure you know that you're the creator of your reality and that we're here to serve each other with love, respect, and that we are all one and connected, but we're all designed uniquely and a bit differently. So you may have a desire to be an engineer. Someone else may have a desire to be a spiritual leader. Someone else may have a desire to get into real estate. We have different skills, different strengths and weaknesses, different dreams, different visions, and different thoughts and beliefs. And you know what? That's okay. It creates contrasts. We experience something we don't like or don't align with. It helps us get more clear on what we do like and what we do align with. If we were all the same, the world would be extremely boring and there would be no diversity. And yeah, so don't be afraid to tap into yourself and create the life you truly desire. And because so many people don't believe in themselves, it may seem like, oh, it's hard to go for the life I want. No one believes in me. And you get on the other side after you've been going toward your dreams for a while. You'll attract what you are, because we attract what we are. You'll attract other people who are also doing the same thing as you. And it gets easier because most people aren't believing in themselves, right? And once you get around a lot of people who are, it begins to seem normal. And they're always speaking life into you and your dreams and helping you and sharing resources. So yeah, and another thing is, if you lose desire to work for material things, because your vibration raises and your self-love increases, and it makes you become aware that these things don't give me any kind of validation, or most people aren't caring so much what other people think about you, so you're not doing things to impress people, right? So you're not feeling like, I gotta wear this $700 shirt just so this girl likes me. I get more likes on my Instagram post. You don't really care about that type of stuff, right? So not to say it's bad to like nice things or quality things. The reasons you do things begin to change, and you start thinking more about your health, well-being, freedom, genuine connections, and that's all that's happening. So nothing's wrong with you. You're not depressed. You're not a failure. You're not unmotivated. Your desires are simply shifting, and you are slowly but surely becoming who you are without the mask on, and who you would have been naturally without all these societal ideas and conditioning pushed on you. And it's a beautiful thing. So I'll be making some more videos about spiritual awakenings and self-transformation, but this is just something that's been on my heart to share today, since I just had my 29th birthday, and I've just really been reflecting on my life and just wanted to share where I'm at this point. And my gift to myself is offering more to the world this year. All right, I love you all. Have a blessed and wonderful day.